Before starting any lab, review your safety procedures. Make sure you have your goggles on at all times. As for clothing, make sure you have pants, closed-toed shoes, and a shirt that is no shorter than short sleeve. Before any lab, you should review the materials that are needed. In this lab, we'll be using a pipette, a graduated cylinder, a beaker, and a blue section. Before starting lab, you need to know some formulas and definitions. In this lab, we'll be using the formula D equals M over V, which means density equals mass over volume. Density shows the relationship between the amount of water you have in grams and the amount of space it takes up in milliliters. When graphing, it is important to have your labeling correct. Your volume will be your independent value on your x-axis, and the mass will be your dependent value on your y-axis. Your density will be your slope. It is important that you choose volumes with a larger range of data points. If not, it will be difficult to read. Your graph points to look something like this. In this lab, we'll be using one other formula. Final volume minus initial volume equals total volume delivered. The initial volume is the original solution drawn up from the pipette. The final volume is the solution left in the pipette after releasing some into the new beaker. When finding the final and initial volume, the volumes must be read at the meniscus at eye level and recorded to 1 degree of uncertainty. The meniscus is where the water had a high surface tension due to adhesion. Recording to 1 degree of uncertainty means to guess what the hundredths place would be. Now that we have gone over all formulas and definitions, it is now time to start lab. A quick tip to remember is to rinse and clean the pipette before using it. You rinse with water and solution 3 times. The water rinses it out, and the solution will rinse out any leftover water that would have any dilution effect. To draw water out from the pipette, you squeeze the blue suction and place it over the pipette. If you squeeze the blue suction when it's on the pipette, everything inside your beaker will go everywhere. Gently release the blue suction so the water will begin to rise. Place your finger next to the blue suction so when you move it, your thumb can close the hole so all the water won't drop out. Just like it was mentioned earlier in the video, you want to read at eye level and record it to 1 degree of uncertainty. Be sure to record your data. This will be your initial volume. Release some of the water into the new beaker. Then record your new volume with the same steps as earlier. This will be your final volume. Then you should do the simple calculation to find the total volume delivered. The steps to find the total volume in a graduated cylinder is similar to the pipette. Pour some of your solution in the graduated cylinder. Like you did for the pipette, you want to read at the meniscus and record to 1 degree of uncertainty. This will be your initial volume. Then pour some of your solution from the graduated cylinder to the new beaker. Then read and record. This will be your final volume. After you have the data from the initial and final, do your calculations. First, tip the balance to 0, then record the mass of the empty beaker. Remember to record all digits on the screen. You then want the mass of the solution. Put the beaker with the solution inside and record every decimal place that shows in the balance. The difference of the two masses is the mass of the substance. Simply subtract them. Review all data collected and make sure all calculations are right. In this lab, you have collected the initial volume and final volume using the pipette and graduated cylinder. You have also found the correct mass using the anatomical balance. Your notebook should be filled with notes, calculations, and a graph. It should look like this. That's the end of the lab. Remember to rinse out all glassware you used and clean up after yourself.